comes round to take his grid slot. Padge is wrong, only 2 people have missed their grid slot. And here come the lights for the start of the Season 3 Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and Ross has got an absolutely brilliant start. You can see him there in 4th place on the right hand side of the grid, and he has got an absolute rocket of a start. Unfortunately, this broadcast camera is not very good, but Ghost comes out of turn 1, still in the lead from Slackbus. Ross has overtaken his teammate and ahead into 3rd. Smaller Smiley is really having a good start on those hard tyres, but Perry Jerry, on the other hand, is down to 7th on those hards, so not a good lap so far from Perry. And running wide at turn 4 is Perry, getting overtaken by Flew, and now Mr. Wiggles is all over the back of that Red Bull. And how many times have we seen a Red Bull and a Mercedes go side by side on this track? So far so good. We have Akaris, who has just dropped back by a couple of seconds, but he is still in the running. Tadius Bear and Colucci going side by side into the double left. Tadius Bear ahead now of Colucci, and Mr. Wiggles and Perry Jerry are going side by side, and this could be an interesting rivalry over the course of the season. These two similar pace, and we'll have to keep our eyes on that. E4 says Josh, top 3 is the Slapbus, Flew and Prev, says Padge. Bit of an interesting prediction there with Flew and Prev currently not in podium slots, and Ross has had a mistake somewhere, possibly some contact with either Slackbus or his teammate. We'll have to wait and see what happened there, but Ross is now down to 10th. And maybe this is the nerf that Josh was asking for. This good buddy Tucker potentially might see a move between those two friends for 17th in a minute. There's no such thing as owner privileges. Chives past that guy on this lap, but a little bit wide, and Chives has had a long-standing problem of time penalties in IIRL. Still yet to see the first time penalty of the season. Slackbus not close enough to make a move into turn 1 from Ghost. Ghost could be using some energy here to make sure he doesn't lose that lead. Here comes that guy now down the inside of Chivers into turn 1, retaking 3rd, but Chives is very close to the back of that AlphaTauri now, and will get the DRS down into turn 4. That guy breaks super late, swings it round the outside. Really good defensive work, and unfortunately for Chives, there was no way he is going to get through that gap. Good defense here. Assist Tier 1 will be on Thursdays, Assist Tier 2 on Sundays at 7:30 PM GMT, that is UK time. Hope you enjoy your time here on our channel. Oh, and Chives has lost it! Just saw him there flying off the track in the background, and unfortunately for him, that is a spin. Chives' good work so far has just been undone a little bit. Meanwhile, here comes Perry Jerry now, has the slipstream on Ross, who is trying to get past Smaller Smiley. Ross has the better tyres right now, with the mediums giving a bit more grip at this stage in the race. And Ross with the DRS, Smaller Smiley might get double overtaken here by Perry if Perry is close enough. Smaller Smiley trying to outbrake Ross into turn 1. Ross gives him space. Good defensive work there from Ross. And meanwhile, Perry now looking very aggressive behind Smaller Smiley. Battle of the two debutants. And on this occasion, Smiley is the one who is the happiest. Beautiful camera shot of that midfield pack. Ross in 6th, defending from Smiley, Perry, Pete and Chivers. Recovering after that spin. Pete just missing the apex there into turn 8, and Chives looking like he wanted to go down the inside, but not quite enough room for that. As things stand, we're still only on lap 6 of 29, and there is still plenty of room left, and Chives goes for another spin in the background, keeps it out of the wall, which is good news for him. but he will probably need a safety car if he wants to fight his way back up. And what's happened here? Flew. A spin for Flew. Coming out of turn 11. 2 spins in the course of 10 seconds for 2 different drivers. And Thaddeus Bear also was spun at turn 11. So lap 6 is the lap of spins. 3 drivers losing a big chunk of time. This then puts Mr. Wiggles firmly in control of P4. Ross now up to 5th after his spin earlier on. And Greg is under pressure here from Flew. It's going to be close, side by side. Greg gives him space. And Flew, nice move there. Good respect from Greg. Do generally see best and competitive and the most respectful racing in this tier. No assists. You have got to be very respectful and trust each other out on track. Making sure Ghost doesn't run away with this, but making sure he's putting him under pressure. As here comes Perry Jerry down the inside of Smaller. Smaller giving him space, and Smiley will now have the DRS. Oh, the spin! Keeps it pretty nicely. Doesn't lose too much time in that spin. Might lose out here to Greg. Under braking at turn 4. Smiley will have to be careful he doesn't spin again on those warm tyres. And won a championship back in the day. Interested to see what Vapid can achieve. My teammate at Ferrari on Thursday nights. Very happy to see you, mate. Oh, and Saka goes for a spin as well. It certainly is. That spin corner, turns 5 and 6, very tricky to contend with. Unfortunately, Taka falls victim. I'm sure that will not be the only spin we see on this channel this week. So far, that guy's been very solid so far. Evident that he hasn't had the pace of these top 2, but he has been super consistent out in P3. Mr. Wiggles has been on his tail for a number of laps. We'll go on board with Slapbus just to see what kind of game he's playing here, because I believe it is a game. If it wasn't a game, we would have definitely seen at least one overtake in these first 10 laps. You can see on his steering wheel that little orange horizontal bar just below the gear number. If that goes green, it means he's using energy. And down towards turn 4, he wasn't using any. If he did use some, he would definitely be close enough to make a move. He's just being cautious here. That's what Slapbus is doing. Ghost needs to make sure that he doesn't fall into the trap of using all of his energy. Slapbus therefore would have a massive advantage in this second half of the race. Both into the points after Flu's pit stop, but Chives won't keep in the points for long. Mr. Wiggles now into the pits for hard compound tyres. Pete has followed suit, and Chives has done the same. Unanswered. But we do know this, is that in this next 12 or so laps, we are going to see something happen. And as we say that, Slapbus has gone for the undercut. The question is though, what tyres is Slapbus going on? I have a feeling it's going to be soft tyres. And they are. Soft tyres for Slapbus. Ghost has to respond this lap. And he is really pushing now, Ghost. Ghost has extended that gap to that guy by another half a second in this last lap. Ghost now realises that he needs to push super hard on this in lap. Has to respond to Slapbus, otherwise he will get undercut. Smaller Smiley into the pits, ditching those hards for the mediums. And it's going to be super close between Smiley and Perry coming out of the pits. Here comes Perry, Jerry and Smiley. By pitting one lap earlier, has got that undercut done. That's a nice move there from Smaller. And in comes Ghost. Had to respond. From Ghost's point of view, we hope that was a fantastic in-lap. In comes that guy. Soft tyres on the car for Ghost. I imagine that guy will do the same. Yes, it is another set of soft tyres going on those cars. And where is Slapbus? He is ahead of Ghost Tamino. That was a beautiful strategy call, and that outlap was absolutely perfect. Not only has he overtaken Ghost, but Ghost has cold tyres for half a lap, and Slapbus has over a second gap. That could have been the move that has won Slapbus this race. What an incredible strategy call from Slapbus. Ghost sets a new fastest lap of the race, and he has closed that gap now to 1.6 seconds. Ghost is on the charge, and can he defy all odds here and get back within DRS range of Slapbus, who has taken the lead in brilliant fashion? Battle between that guy and Wiggles. That guy didn't quite have enough room on the inside of turn 3 here. This is going to help Ross, who is going to catch up to his teammate. A late move there from that guy. Down the inside of Mr. Wiggles. Mr. Wiggles wasn't expecting it. Bit of contact. That guy forcing his way through. Back up into third. And now finds himself on the podium as things stand. Ross's job is pretty simple here. So here comes Mr. Wiggles down the inside. That guy on the outside on brand new tyres, but has to back off. Losing traction perhaps on the dirty line of the track. And this then has brought Ross back into play for a potential podium. Padge did joke earlier on that Ross would somehow find his way back on the podium, and honestly that could be a likely outcome here tonight. Two drivers ahead of them, that guy and Wiggles, with red flashing light at the back of their car. That means that they are down to their last 25% or less of energy. Ross here, if he's saved his battery well, could find himself in a beautiful position to try and get these two here. And there goes Mr. Wiggles down the insides and losing out on fourth. That guy and Ross now. Rule number 1, don't crash into your teammate. This is super close. Ross has got the better line, he's got the better traction, and he's got the podium back on the cards. Ross, beautiful move there, ahead of his teammate. Mr. Wiggles is still in this fight, so don't count him out just yet. And of course, don't count out that guy, but what Ross needs to do now is try and build a 1 second gap on those two behind. Brilliant racing. This race has sparked into life, and all of a sudden, Ghost is now 10 seconds behind Slapbus. Ghost has had a spin in the last few moments, and his race win could be gone in a moment. All Slapbus needs to do now is make sure he doesn't get any penalties, doesn't spin himself or doesn't crash, and Slapbus will have earned this race win in a very, very satisfying way. He's gone again. Final corner. He's spun. 2 quick spins in succession for Ghost, and it sets up a massive fight now for second place. Slapbus now is going to win this by a country mile. But the question is, who is going to end up on the podium? Here comes Ross now. Round the outside of turn 4. Looks like a slight bit of contact, but nothing too harmless. Bit of a slide there from Ross. Ghost has the inside line and the better traction and maintains second place. That guy and Wiggles are lying in wait, and Ghost is off the track once again. Those tyres are going to be so hot right now for Ghost. Qataris. Ghost is still very able to get second here. Just needs to have a little bit of composure in this next lap or two. Stick within DRS range of Ross. No one would have any complaints if Mr. Wiggles got on the podium himself. He's had some great pace here tonight in the race. Oh, Ross is gone! Just when you think this race has sorted itself out, another flash. And something has changed. It's a yellow flag in Sector 2. No safety car is deployed. Ross has dropped to 5th. He should be pretty comfortable ahead of Perry Jerry, unless he's got some damage that we don't know about. This is absolutely incredible stuff. You just don't know where these are finishing, and that guy has had a bit of a slide out of turn 2, and he's very vulnerable now to Mr. Wiggles, who has the DRS and has the outside line. That guy trying to force his way up the inside, misses his apex slightly, and that's why they touch the wheels. Still side by side now, going into turn 5 and turn 6. Wiggles slings it round the outside, brakes later, and gets third place back. There's no such thing as a commentator's curse, Adrian. Mr. Wiggles close enough to make a move on Ghost in the final lap of this race. Slapbus is going to win, and he's coming around turn 4 now. Mr. Wiggles is on a charge. Ghost's soft tyres are now around about 50% tyre wear. Mr. Wiggles has an advantage in this stage in the race on the final lap of the race, but this is going to be so close between Wiggles and Ghost. Wiggles is super close now, bit of a slide, DRS is open. This is the battle for second. Final lap of the race. Here goes Mr. Wiggles round the outside. Ghost just taps the apex, which puts his car a little bit into Mr. Wiggles' line. Has to back off for now. Slapbus coming round the final corner. He will take the checkered flag and the 4 points here in Bahrain. It's been an absolutely flawless race from Slapbus and wins in Bahrain, but the podium is not quite sorted yet. Ghost leads into the final corner from Mr. Wiggles. Does Mr. Wiggles have one final charge left? There goes the flashing light, and it's Ghost who just hangs on to second place from Mr. Wiggles. That was a valiant effort from Wiggles, and unfortunate perhaps to be third, but what a fight on the end. That guy finishes fourth, a super solid race from him, has to be said. Very well deserved of his 12 points here tonight. Ross just finishing half a second behind his teammate, but would be so far up the field if he didn't have those 2 spins. Ross finishes in 5th place and taking home 10 points. Perry Jerry and Smaller Smiley, brilliant fight from them at the end, and taking home some well-deserved points for their teams on their debuts. Had some great pace tonight, but unfortunately a couple of spins from him, a few mistakes here and there. He finishes in the points, as well as Flew and Greg, who is Mr. Consistent as always. Great strategies from them to remain in the points. Pete on his return 11th, who was quick. He was so close to pole position. In the end, Ghost took it by 0.4 of a second, but in that race Slapbus proved his worth. Brilliant strategy, undercutting Ghost, getting the DRS range, putting Ghost under pressure, who eventually did spin a couple of times, and Slapbus took this win in brilliant style.